Hi there, my name's Donna, and today we're having a carnival conversation with Mark from Carnival Cruise Lines. Hi Mark, thanks for joining us today.
Hi Donna, and thank you Just Cruises for having me here today.
Today we're going to talk about cruising with kids, and Mark will answer some questions that we get asked a lot. Mark's also going to share with us some of his wonderful hints and tips that will make cruising with kids a whole lot easier. So Mark, I'll start off by asking you some common questions that the consultants here at Just Cruises get asked by our clients. The first one is, does Carnival have family-sized cabins that fit more than 4 people in them?
Fantastic, thanks Donna. And look, that's a great question. That's something we get asked quite often with Carnival. As family cruising's growing and more gauging more different types of families and sizes, it is something that becomes very, very common about family of 5 rooms. Now, currently in the next year, we've got one of our newer ships arriving called Carnival Splendor, and Carnival Splendor has 2 family of 5 rooms on it at this stage. But with that as well, it's great because the family unit can all be together in the one stateroom. But however, there is a lot of opportunities as well where there is interconnecting staterooms. And the Carnival Spirit, for example, which is one of our ships here, has about 56 interconnecting staterooms. And then Carnival Splendor, which is arriving next year, also has just over 300 interconnecting staterooms. And they interconnect from inside to inside, ocean view to ocean view, and balcony to balcony. And they can take a family of up to 8. So two quads, which is really, really exciting for the Australian market. So we're looking forward to seeing that. Now, another thing to look at as well is, that's close to home cruising. A lot of times we do have a lot of products in the US as well, which is becoming a lot easier to get to as well. We've got one of our ships, for example, I just had a quick look this morning, Carnival Breeze. It's based out of Galveston, and in September school holidays has a family of 5 room for about $3,200.
Wow.
Yeah, so some really good prices. If you're looking, there's the close to home stuff, and there's also the little bit further aboard for Carnival.
Excellent, and Just Cruises can help with other flights and everything as well. We can package up a fantastic cruise holiday.
Exactly, that's perfect, yeah. And I mean, with the flights these days across the Pacific directly into Houston as well. So if you don't know where Galveston is, Galveston's about a 45-minute drive from Houston Airport. And we have a couple of great carriers that fly across there, so making it really accessible. Yeah.
That's excellent. Okay, so next, is it possible to have a cot or a bassinet in the cabin?
Yes, so that's another great one as well. So we get a lot of, particularly younger children as well that are coming on, infants. So if any infants are at 23 months or younger, we will automatically provide them with a cot.
Okay.
And that'll be positioned in their stateroom when they get on board. If they are a little bit older and they still require a cot, we can do that as a request basis as well. As long as the guest is comfortable, we want to make their cruise as comfortable as possible.
Excellent. So yeah, just when you're booking, just let your consultant know that you'd like a cot if your child's older than 2. So kids clubs, what are the age restrictions and are they strict on those ages? We commonly get asked if siblings can be allowed to be together even though they're in that different age groups. Is this something that can be done? And if so, how do our clients go about arranging these?
Yeah, look, fantastic as well. Look, kids clubs are a very, very big part of our business with the amount of families that we have coming on board. And one of the things we do get asked a lot is, we have got our guidelines for our kids clubs are set, particularly for kids that are different sizes and learning capabilities and things like that. However, there is the often chance where the child might be within a year of each other, of their sibling who's in a slightly lower kids club. We will allow up to a year. We will allow them to come down to their child, to their sister or their brother's age group. If anything bigger than that, it's always best to have a chat to the youth club director when they're on board. And the reason why I say that is because sometimes you have got as I mentioned, a 5-year-old that's maybe a little bit bigger than the 3 and the 2-year-olds you might be playing with. So we do try and kind of make that assessment on board just to make sure kids are happy and having
safe.
fun. Yeah, that's the most important part.
Okay, and how does Carnival handle food allergies?
Food allergies, yes. A lot more people these days have food allergies, and they range from all sorts of things. From your celiacs right through to gluten intolerances, vegetarians, whole foods, things like that. It is a very big part of the business as well. And I'll give you a couple of tips on that as well, because we do handle the food allergies really, really well. However, the best thing is always just to let us know. So lucky to have you guys here, Just Cruises. You can send us a quick email, we can fill out a little form, and it tells us exactly what those issues are. So if you need particularly like almond milk and things like that, we can we know in advance that we can get that kind of stuff. But the really big tip is, when it comes to cruising, and particularly dining in the main dining restaurant, is to have what we call a set dining time. So if you have a set dining time, which is either early or late, every single dinner meal you go to, you'll have the same waiter and the same drinks staff there as well, so that they do get to know that you have these types of allergies or food intolerances, and then they can then kind of you can preview the meal for the menu from the night before. You can kind of see what's going on, and then we can kind of customise it as best we can to meet those particular allergies.
Great, and the wait staff do look after you very well.
They do, and we dance in the dining room too, which is one of the great things about Carnival. You know, the fun doesn't just stop there; it continues right through into the dining experience as well.
Fantastic. So I personally have kids with autism. Do you offer anything to assist with this? Priority boarding or tenders? Do the staff have any training in how to deal with kids with autism?
Yeah, and look, another really great question, and I'm loving these ones that are coming through. So, look, with autism, again, it is something that's, there's a lot more of it these days, and we have a special needs department where we can send an email. You guys can send an email onto your guests, and they can fill out we know exactly what's happening and what kind of trigger points and things like that, and then we can prejudge exactly what we need to do with them prior to that. There's quite often, you have some of the children might have sensory issues, for example, and, when we come on board, by maritime law, we have to do muster.
Yes.
Okay, and in the muster, the ship's horn sounds quite a few times, and that can be a bit unsettling sometimes for the children.
Yep.
So, yeah, exactly. So if we know about that, we can pull them into special rooms, take them out of the main deck and put them in the show lounge, and just kind of get them ready, let them know this is happening so they don't get upset when that happens as well. The Kids Club staff are great handling kids with autism as well, and they know how to look after them as well. But one of the really great things is our kids clubs all have we have like this little mobile phone. It's like an old Nokia 3210 when the aerial disappeared. Anyway, and we can always call the parents if there's any dramas, so we can give those out to the parents that need them just to kind of make their holiday a little bit more stress-free.
Yeah, and it is excellent because I've used it myself with my kids. So
that's awesome. Yeah.
Also, is there a special child's menu in the dining room for kids that might be a little bit fussy?
Yes, fussy kids. That's no, come on, kids aren't fussy, are they? Look. That is right. We do have a lot of kind of comfort food. I would like to say, like chicken nuggets and spaghetti and fish and chips and pies and things like that in the main dining room as well. If the kid wants to be a little more adventurous, we do have the main meals as well. The adults eat, though they can reduce down to entree sizes. There's a range of food as well, and particularly in like the Lido Grill, which is our international food court, we have things, a lot of your fish and chips and pies and those kind of easy foods as well that the guests can eat. And then we have some really great like burgers that are included in Guy's Burger Joint, which is absolutely magnificent. One of my favourite burgers. And then Blue Iguana Cantina, the tacos and burritos that we have on board, and they're all included in the cruise fare as well. So it's
breakfast burrito.
Breakfast
amazing.
burrito. Oh, it's my favourite, yeah.
Okay, so what activities are available for tweens and teens?
Tweens and teens. So tweens and teens, the teenagers basically. So look, they're another great little part of our business as well. With the teens, they need to be active as well, and we have a lot of activities for them, and they range from all sorts of things. We do like from karaoke to designing t-shirts, Build-A-Bear workshops. We even do things when we get to port destinations. So Mystery Island, for example, has got this airstrip in the middle of the island, and we play cricket on the airstrip. And some of our port partners as well, we're working very closely with Moreton Island, for example, is a great port partner as well, where they're running teen programs on the beach as well. So not just in kids club hours, but outside and in ports and things like that, where they can get together and dig for treasure hunt stuff and all this kind of really fun activities that they can do.
That's fantastic to know you can do that on shore, not just all on board.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Another question we get, is it expensive once you're on board?
Expensive on board. So look, the great thing about cruising is that you can spend as much or as little as you want. The great thing about a cruise holiday is that all your main meals, your accommodation, your shows, they're all included. So you can come on board and come off with a very reduced bill if you have got a budget that you're sticking towards. However, if you do want a little bit more shopping, or the kids want to play in the arcade games and things like that, of course then the price will come a bit. One of the things we really try and pride ourselves on at Carnival is trying to include as much as we possibly can. Yeah, so guests, they don't have to put their hand in their pocket as much. So things like 24-hour pizzas and soft serve ice cream, like as I mentioned, the guys burgers and all that's included. Majority of activities as well. Things like gym and all that is all included, so the guests can try and still come on board and have a really great time.
Which is excellent for everybody, but especially families.
Yes, exactly right. Yes.
And does Carnival provide babysitting services? And if so, is there a cost associated with that?
So with the babysitting, we do what's called, we don't do it in-cabin babysitting, however we do an in-kids club babysitting. Okay, so we have a babysitting particular time of the day, so we do it 2 hours in the morning, from 8 a.m. in the morning till 10 a.m. in the morning. Now that's during the sea days, so that's what we go into a port, and that is at $8 per child per hour. Okay, so that works out to be, parents can go to the gym, they can go and relax together and enjoy themselves while the kids are in there. Then once 10 o'clock rolls around, we then go into kids club hours, and then kids club hours run right through until 10 p.m. at night time. And then at 10 p.m. at night time, the kids club official program finishes, and we start what's called the Camp Carnival Night Owls, and that runs until 1 a.m. in the morning. Okay, and the great thing about that is it's $8 per child per hour. So if you're having a really good time and you just grab that last little cocktail in the Shanghai Piano Bar, and all of a sudden you're like, I just want to stay out 1 more hour, or you get the comedy, you can just leave your children in there, and then the Night Owls program will kick in, and you can go and get them at 11 o'clock. Kind of thing, or 12 or 1 in the morning.
Yep, and that's fantastic, and it is really well priced too for babysitting.
But find a babysitter in Australia for $8. Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so Carnival are well known as a family cruise line. So can you share with us some other hints and tips that you've found over the years that'll help parents and guardians have a stress-free holiday?
Yeah, of course. So there's some the key things that I've found that have always helped the families, particularly first-time cruisers who haven't maybe been on board before, and they're tossing up with, do I want to come on a cruise, and how do I want to experience it? Is a couple of my favourite tips, to be honest with you. The first one is make sure the kids go to Kids Club on day one.
Yeah.
Okay, and the reason why I say that is kids, they will develop their little kind of, they develop their friendships and things like that, and sometimes when you come in on day 3, sometimes they're a little bit behind, particularly if they're if they're a bit of a shy child and they haven't been able to, they're not that out there, then they can come on, make sure they come on day 1. It's a great experience for them. The other tip as well is, and this is, it's got a little bit of funniness to it, but when you're doing the online check-in and you come in on board, you have an option to, when you put your credit card details in for any billing, you have an option to be able to tick whether each member of the family links to that credit card. Yeah. So just make sure that the children are linked to that credit card. We had a little child, bless her heart, absolutely gorgeous little girl. She went and bought all her friends and kids club presents from the fun shops. So there was quite a bit of a shock there. So look, but the way to combat that is, of course, once you're on board, is you can go down to guest services and you can say, look, I want to put a cap of $20 a day or $50 a day or $10 a day, depending what your budget is. And then once they've spent that on the arcade, or if they want to buy any soft drinks and things like that, it deactivates the spending feature on their card for that particular day until it resets the next day. So those are really 2 key things. The other thing I found from talking to a lot of families as well is our cabin configurations are fantastic in our quad space for our ocean view and our balcony. We have what's called a king-size bed that can either be 2 twins, then a bunk bed on the side.
Oh, fantastic.
So it works really, really well for families. However, one of the things with the bottom bed, the top has rails and stuff, so you can't fall out, and then the bottom's a little bit lower than the ground. But what a lot of guests do is they take a pool noodle and they tuck the pool noodle under the bottom fitting bed, and it just gives them a little bit more the kids don't roll and that kind of stuff.
Kids don't roll out.
Particularly if they're young and they're 2, they're newly out of a cot.
Yeah.
And then the best thing about that is take the pool noodle down to Isle of Pines. Because where we cruise, where we go into, the waters are beautiful and calm, where we stop. Places like Isle of Pines and Marais and Mystery Island, it's just nice, calm water and really great for the families to be able to go in and play and relax in, so, which is really, really great. Yeah.
Excellent. So thanks so much for answering all those questions for us, Mark. I know a lot of parents will be thankful to have this information prior to cruising. My first cruise was quite a few years ago when my oldest 2 were 9 and 7. I'd have loved to have known all that before I went. Would have made things a lot easier. It was still a great cruise though. So thanks for joining me here today, Mark, and for all your fantastic advice about cruising with children. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us about Carnival in general?
Yeah, definitely. So we've got, we are the largest cruise line in the world, and we're very lucky in the fact that we take over 5 million guests on a cruise holiday every year. So, but with cruising, it's ever evolving and ever growing, and that's the really exciting segment that we're in right now. And we've got a lot of cool stuff coming to Australia as well. We've also got a lot in the international fleet that we are growing and developing. We've just built our second Vista class ship, which is called Carnival Horizon, and that's got a Dr. Seuss themed water park on board. It's got a brewery. It's got a smokehouse for low and slow meats. Absolutely fantastic. And that's going to be based out of Miami later in the year. However, as I mentioned, our first Vista class ship is going to be moving to Galveston in October, so that gives a really good option as well. For those family rooms. We've got actual dedicated family rooms as well, where you have your own private breakfast area which you can engage in. And then we're building our third Vista class ship, which is going to be called Carnival Panorama. Wow. And Carnival Panorama is going to be based out of Los Angeles. So that's incredibly exciting because that it's a Vista class ship, so it's the largest ships we build at the moment within Carnival, and it creates that really close to us, right on our doorstep of Australia. Yeah. Be able to have that experience doing 7-day Mexico itineraries. So we're very, very excited about that. And then at the moment we've got our Shiny Ship Sail. So our Shiny Ship Sail's on at the moment. Both our ships have just been dried up. That's Carnival Spirit and Carnival Legend. And then Splendor will come down later next year. It's going to have a dried up prior to arriving. So we've got some great rates on that, onboard credits and things like that. But the biggest news for us, particularly in the Queensland guys, is Carnival Spirit's coming up to Queensland in 2020. So we're very, very excited about it. Carnival Spirit's a great ship. She's fast. She handles herself incredibly well out in the South Pacific. And I can't wait for Queenslanders to experience her. So,
like the rest of us Queenslanders, we can't wait either.
Exactly.
There you go, everyone. Some wonderful information about Carnival, cruising as a family, that we hope you'll find very useful. Just Cruises would love to help you book your next family cruise, so please contact us either by phone 1800-284-112, email inquiries@justcruises.com.au, or head over to our website, which is www.justcruises.com.au, to find your perfect cruise, or of course you can contact us right here through Facebook. Thanks for watching, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Donna, and thank you, Just Cruises, for being great partners of ours. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.